Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Tell Me Everything. I'm your host, Danielle Spinelli. Today, we are going to speak with Trey Griggs. If you don't know Trey, he's always been like kind of a spokes guy in the industry. He's usually at like all the conferences. He's so fun, great dude. If you don't know him, highly suggest you connect with him. I think he even has a book. I don't even know why we didn't bring up his book on here, but yeah, I think he's got a book or he's coming out with a book. I can't really remember, but great dude. And now he is working with Manifold. So super excited to learn about what Manifold's doing. So we're going to talk about that today and kind of just get into all the fun things. We talk about parenting. We talk about logistics. I guess he was a broker for a couple months. And, I think it's always so fun to talk about how was it for you and all that stuff. But anyways, let's jump in it.
Tell me everything.
Tell me everything.
All right. I feel like I wish I started these things with like a funny video or funny, like, I don't know, just like fun, like, let's go. I don't know.
You need a hype video. We need to work on that. Get you a hype video.
I know. Hype video. What's up, Trey? So excited to have you on here.
Danielle, I finally made it. I finally made it to Tell Me
Yay.
Everything. I've been seeing and the graphics for the different guests you've had and listening to shows. Like, man, how do I get on this show? So I feel like I've made it,
I've just been waiting on you. Like, it's not me. It ain't a me. It's a you. So don't even try that. You've had so many changes and even just like personal stuff, like your daughter's graduated, right? That already
Graduated
happened.
2 weeks
That's
ago. Yeah.
so exciting. How are
Yeah.
you feeling about it? You're good or you pumped, sad?
It's interesting. It was a hard kind of transitional period mentally and emotionally, but
Yeah.
the day and the week couldn't have gone better. It not only was my daughter's high school graduation, but she was in the first graduating class of the school that my wife runs.
Oh,
So
wow.
there was a lot going on there. A lot of emotion, a lot of stress, a lot of joy. Like
Mhm.
it was a lot, but the week long, schedule of events that we had, it was perfect. The senior awards dinner was perfect. Graduation was wonderful. My daughter gave a speech. There were only 5 students
Cool.
in the class. So, a smaller class, the
Yeah.
students were all given the option of giving a speech if they wanted. And my daughter did. And she talked about how proud she was of my wife for building this school. I'm like, we were just like bawling,
So
just like, oh
cool.
my gosh, like stop. So we had that. And the next day we had our graduation party at our house, and we had about 150 people that came through our house during a 4-hour stretch, and just seeing all those people and them being, excited and congratulatory to Hannah, and just being generous and getting to tell stories, and oh my gosh, I can't believe you're so big. I remember when you were this. I just all that
Yeah.
stuff was really fun. So that entire week was. I rarely say that something is perfect, but that just was about as perfect as it gets.
That's so cool. That's like the best way to hand off the baton of like, okay, here's your life. Let's go.
I know,
Just
go
like
do
a
something with
perfect
it.
week. I know.
That's right.
My
That's
daughter,
right.
my daughter and my son, they're both going into their senior year. So like I'm gonna that will be me a year from now. And it
Yeah.
won't be as perfect because I'll have a boy and a girl's graduation party together. And we I
It
think
could be
if it was
fireworks,
just if it was just my daughters, it'd be perfect. But my son will throw in a wrench for sure. He always does.
Well,
So
if your daughter's like my daughter, she'll take over all the decorations and it'll
oh
look
yeah.
pretty. And then, your son can set up all the tables and get the ice and the coolers ready and all that. I mean, it could be a perfect blend here. Could be.
I think he'll just stand there and look pretty. That's typically what he does. And then like in the background be like shooting hoops because that's all he can think
Yeah,
about.
with his boys
So,
out back. That's right. Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, that would be the whole day, I'm sure. Well, that's so cool.
Awesome.
Congratulations. That's exciting. And then of course you made changes. Was that this year that you made the
Yeah.
change to Manifold or okay. That's so exciting. How did you even get to be like, how did you get to know Manifold? How did this whole thing come about?
Yeah. Well, I've been doing, sales and marketing and business consulting for the last 4 years, which I've really enjoyed. I've had great customers, but I've had a great experience. I built a little bit of a team, decided I didn't like that, went back to being a solopreneur and solo consultant, which I really did enjoy that. And I
Yeah.
wasn't really looking to make a move. I met Oliver Jones, who is one of our co-founders and the CEO of Manifold. I met him through Ballast, which is a logistics founders network that Nate Schutz has built. And I got to know Oliver, and just from the moment, just really liked how he carried himself, how he spoke, and just what he was doing. And somebody had said to him, like, dude, you got to get Trey to do some testimonial and some marketing work for you, which was very kind for somebody to say. I didn't plant the bug. It was very nice.
Yeah.
And so Oliver and I started talking, and he said, we got a lot of customers that are really happy. Would you do some testimonial videos for me? And I was like, yeah, sure. So I scheduled to go do 3 testimonial videos for them. I went and did those. And I got to tell you, I've done a lot of testimonial content for companies in our industry over the years. I've never met happier customers than Oliver's customers. I had one off camera tell me that he'd paid double what Oliver was
Wow.
charging him, the service was so valuable. So I was like, what? I mean, this is unsolicited. I went back to Oliver. I said, whatever you're doing, it's working. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that started a relationship with us. I started doing some more marketing work for him. I, helped them kind of redo their website a little bit, some of their content and those types of things. They started eventually helping with some business strategy as well. He had a couple of suitors that came asking to purchase a company, and we worked through that together. And then he's like, man, I'd really like for you to come on board full time. And at first I was like, Oliver, you don't want me, dude. I'm a wild card. You don't, you don't want me. But the more that we just got to know each other, and I got to know the product, I got to know the customers, I got to know the team, phenomenal team that he's built. I think that Oliver is one of the probably unheralded. Most people don't know him, but also underrated leaders in our industry. He's just really phenomenal. And how he treats customers, how he treats his team, how he thinks about business, how customers focused he is and centric he is. So it was all very attractive to me, and finally talked me into it. And I said, yeah, let's do it. So I jumped back in. I didn't plan on it. I really liked consulting. I probably will go back to it. But I thought about this, Danielle. I thought, what's going to make me a better consultant when I'm in my 50s? Probably getting back in the game and, building revenue, building a company, building the sales and marketing engine.
Sharpen the knives.
Yeah, it's like getting back into it, I think will just make me better. So there were a lot of just like, as I was kind of contemplating, do I do this? Do I not? Everything just kept leaning towards, yeah, dude, jump in, go do this. This is going to be good. And even if it doesn't work out the way we intend it to work out, the experience alone is going to be great. But I got to tell you, with our product and what we're building, I'm very optimistic and very excited about where we're headed in the next 3 or 4 years.
That's so cool. Okay, first off, show off the jersey. Everyone needs to see because you always have the sick jerseys. It's
That's
so
right.
cool. Love it.
Got the new Manifold jersey. This is actually the new one. We've got 3 different jerseys for Manifold. We've got a football jersey. We got a black with just like yellow outline stripes, Manifold. And then we got this one, which is new, which I found this one. I was like, ooh, I want that pinstripe one. So
That's
we
cool.
always have to have something, something fun like that.
I need to tell me everything one, I think. So you'll have to hook me up with a vendor. I know.
Dude, I can hook you up with that. I can make that happen for you. That's easy.
That would be
so
sick.
would you want to say, tell me everything or TME? What would you want across the front?
I don't know. I think
tell me everything would fit. It would look good.
Yeah. If I was gonna say if it would fit, that'd be cool. It's funny because whenever I came up with TME, I would now I say that all the time, like a new acronym instead of like LOL. I'm like, I want this to be the next LOL TME, and everyone like my family's like, you're not gonna come up with an acronym and like it's not gonna be this big of a thing.
Hey,
I'm like, I can dream.
In this day and age, you can. I mean, why not?
Why not? I could be a trendsetter. Right. Who knows? Yeah.
I know. Just go from TMI to TME,
Yeah, exactly. Tell me everything. Yeah, exactly. So, no, I need a jersey. That would be really fun. I'll have to bedazzle it. I'll put all the things and
put some jewels on it. Put some sparklies. Oh yeah.
Of course, you know me. Yeah,
I do.
That would be so fun. Well, so tell me a little bit more about Manifold. Like you and me have talked about it before, but like I guess what does it do? Like dumb it down for little me.
Okay, super easy. This is the best way to think of Manifold. We are the Travelocity of spot quoting. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you want to go get a flight, you go to Travelocity, and it pulls all the flights from all the different airlines into one view, so you can pick the right flight the fastest, right? The right price, the right time, all the good stuff. But you have to have them all in one view to be able to compare them.
Yeah.
We do the exact same thing for spot quoting with customers. And this is where we've started. There's a lot more to come, but this is where we are today. A lot of freight brokers and a lot of trucking companies are manually logging into all these customer portals and customer bid boards to try to quote on spot freight, especially right now, because all the freight's moving to the spot side. Contract rates are too low. They're being rejected. And so the freight's moving over to the spot market. And a lot of companies just don't have a strategy or the technology to make that happen. Manifold's the only provider in the space that not only logs into customer portals, but we also have an email integration as well. So we can pull all the loads that come in via email. We were talking to one prospect, Danielle, and she told us that she spends 60%, 5 to 6 hours a day sifting through her inbox to find all the spot opportunities and quote them. And a lot of times,
you got to be quick.
That's what I'm saying. A lot of times she's late, she's like 3 hours too late to find that quote and actually do it. And so to have a tool that brings all of it in one place. And then on top of that, we not only offer automated quoting, which really speeds up the process, but we also offer manual quoting because not every customer should be automatically quoted. Not every load, not every lane. There's flatbed, there's open deck freight, for example, over dimensional that you might need a little bit more human interaction and knowledge and historical kind of, legacy knowledge to bid that correctly. So we offer
Right.
both manual and automated quoting. It is such a cool solution. It
That's
works
so
so
cool.
well. And our customers are getting massive ROI. Like I said, that one customer said, I'd pay twice, what he's charging me. So first of all, I went back to Oliver and I was like, dude, you got to raise your prices. I mean, you're clearly not charging enough for
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
But even
That's
so,
funny.
customers are getting massive return. And that's exciting. And I think what I like so much about Oliver's attitude is his focus. His number one focus, if you ask him, is to help companies make money. That's all he thinks about. He wakes up thinking about how can I build something that's going to help you make more money? Because at the end of the day, that's how companies grow. That's how companies are sustained. That's how
Yeah.
companies pay their employees well and retain great talent. Like making money is obviously the name of the game. And even though that sounds really simplistic, a lot of companies don't have the right tools or strategies or partners who think that way, who are going to make that
Totally.
happen. So
And I think people like I definitely know some brokers that get really stuck in like contracted freight and then they sit there and it's like the same revenue year after year. And they're like, how do I get out of that? Or like they may lose a customer or lose a lane from that contracted the next bid or whatever. And then what? And I think there's always should be a good mix of contracted and spot. I'm a big fan of spot freight myself because that's what I mainly did. Like I had my contract and I had my core carriers
sure.
that did it day in, day out. But that spot freight, like as far as me as a carrier sales rep,
Yeah,
money. That's like
you
how
can
I
make
made
some
my
good money.
money.
Well, it's a lot easier to quote something that's moving next week as opposed to something that's moving 6 months from now, right?
Right.
And depending on where you are in the sales cycle, contract can be really valuable.
Right.
And so it's not one or the other. It really is both. And that's where we're headed next. So we're
Okay.
currently focused on the spot quoting side of things. And it's timely because right now that's where the emphasis is. That's where the focus is. So customers are interested in what we're doing, but we know that it's going to switch again. It
Yeah.
always does. It's going to switch again to where contract and RFPs is going to be a big part of it. So we're working on building out an RFP tool as well, right inside the platform. So that way, no matter where you are in that freight cycle, there's value within the Manifold platform. We really want to
Yeah.
own the pricing strategy category. That's what we want to own.
And
Not rating.
response.
That's different.
Yeah.
We're not going
Right.
to be like a rate view or a sonar or Fairlanes, nothing like that. Pricing strategy, taking that information, taking those
Yeah.
rating engines, taking your historical, data and coming up with, okay, what is the right price for this load right now?
Right. And like you said, response time. I mean, I couldn't even like you go to lunch and then you're like, oh shoot,
Yeah.
I forgot to look at I was ordering. Somebody got it 5 seconds
That's
earlier
right.
than me. You
Or
got
you're
to be
putting out
quick.
a fire, right?
Yeah.
There's a customer that needs something right away and that's important. Or it's 5 a.m, not up yet. Right.
Yeah.
So there's a place for this. And one of the cool things about our tool, not to get too into the features of it, but we have a bidding delay feature in the automated quoting. So you basically say, hey, I want 29 minutes to bid this manually. And if I don't, go ahead and place the automatic quote. And that way you have the time to go in and do what you want to do and use the knowledge you have to place that bid. But if you are at lunch or something came up or you got to go
Yeah.
pick up your kid from school, this still gets done. It doesn't
Yeah.
get missed or dropped, doesn't fall through the cracks. And that's just what happens today because we're all human and we have time restrictions, time limitations. And
Yeah.
so this just removes a lot of that for the customers and for the loads that make sense.
You know what's funny is being a broker, like you're out, like people will say, like, as a broker, you're like, I never have vacation, right? Like a vacation day, what's a vacation day? I'm always working or and 5 p.m. doesn't mean I stop.
Right.
You answer emails
Right.
all throughout. And I think just taking one slice of your emails or one slice of maybe your vacation off of you and being like, hey, you can have this happen in case you do miss something. And it's not so like, I mean, I've taken vacations and then I'm like sitting on the phone while the kids are swimming instead of being able to really
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
obviously being
we
able
have
to
some
check in,
customers
but
we have some customers in the past that if somebody went on vacation, they just stopped quoting with those
right.
customers while they were gone. It's like, you shouldn't have to do that. You still have the operations people to move the freight, keep
Right.
quoting, especially if it's winning profitable freight for you.
Yeah. Even if they just have to check in and be like, okay, everything looks fine. Okay, well, let's go, and that's all you got to do. I think that is just it's just like a work-life balance enhancer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it
That's so
certainly
cool.
can be. Also, the other thing that we've noticed too is that a lot of the companies that we talk to, they have multiple people that are responsible for logging into these portals. 5, 6, 7, 10 people who are logging into the portals when they could be doing something better, namely going and getting new logos, or
Mhm.
2, actually building better relationships with those customers because there's always going to be a human being on the other end, at least right now, who is awarding that freight and you want them to like you. You want them to you
Yeah,
want them to know you, not just getting the bids in. If you spend all your time bidding and not building a relationship or not going out and getting new logos, then it's going to be really hard to scale your growth.
totally. And you don't want them to be submitting out those bids to like 50, 100 other brokers, right? Because then that speed thing comes back in. So if you can be like hey, I give it to my boy first because we're besties. And then,
Yeah.
if they can't handle it,
And
then
he's
it goes
timely
out.
and his
Right.
rates are good. Like,
Yeah.
just, you want to put that trifecta together. just to maximize the opportunities.
Well, and think about even for the shipper side, like whenever they do have to wait on getting a quote, like that delays their process and actually moving the
Right. They want to get
shipment.
off
Like
their dock. Yeah.
yeah. And that sometimes
Exactly right.
I had shippers that were just like, hey, I don't even, I've never ran this lane. I have no idea about anything. Can you quote me so that I can adjust the pricing correctly to the customer? And being able to like quickly be like, yeah, maybe it won't even turn into a load, but I can quickly, give them that quote is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool.
Absolutely. It's a time game for sure. And again, if you're not doing it, think about your competitors who are doing that. I mean, at
Hmm.
this point, it's going to become table stakes to have tools like this in your tech stack. I personally think that this is what I call a foundational level layer of technology. You have your TMS, obviously that's kind of the backbone of your
Yeah.
business, but this is a revenue generating technology. To me, it's foundational level. Like you just need to have this type of tool in your arsenal.
Well, think about like all the automations nowadays, right? Like, let's say, like a bid comes over, you grab the bid, you get the load, then it can come through on an email and accept the load and then go into your TMS and then automatically start posting or automatically reach out to carriers. And I mean, like you could pretty much have this be, it's funny. I was talking to somebody and they're like you can get to the point with tech that like you have 3 employees doing, $30 million worth of profit. If you have the right type of automation and tech, it could happen.
I'll take it one step further. I am really interested to see if one person could do 100 million in freight. Like
Mm,
somebody just could get to the point where they're like the conductor. They're
yeah.
technology savvy. They've got everything built out to where there's so much automation. I mean, think about like, driver checks and load updates and,
Right.
all that stuff the technology is there to do it. You just have to piece it all together. And I'm just curious if we can get to that point where like one person could do 100 million in freight on their own at some point. That'd be pretty epic.
I bet the majority of their time would be the accounting piece because
Well, but they
that's
could
the part
automate
that everybody
that
forgets
too,
about.
right?
You
Like think
can
about
most
that. I
of
mean,
it,
there's
yeah.
solutions out there right now for, accounts payable and accounts receivable that can automate a lot of that as well. And then you're
Yeah,
just dealing
true.
with the exceptions. It's probably not as realistic as I'm making it sound, but I'm just a dreamer. Like that'd
Yeah,
be
I
pretty
know.
cool to see if you
One
can
day,
get 100 million in revenue with one person. That'd be wild.
even 10 million with one person operating everything. I mean,
Yeah,
that's a lot even for one person
it
if you think
is.
about it.
Oh
That's
yeah.
a decent amount.
I
Yeah.
mean, you see agents, they can't do that unless they add people to
No.
their team. I know some of the really aggressive brokerages a couple years ago were trying to hit the 5 million revenue per head, which was also kind of unheard of at that time. This was just 3 years ago. Unheard of at that time, but now that's becoming much more realistic.
Yeah, it makes
So, you just
sense.
keep thinking about the increments, 5 million now, then you get to 10 million per head. I mean, could we get to
Yeah.
100 million per head? Is that possible? I don't know.
I am sure it could, especially as tech gets better. And it is every
Yeah.
time you and me, we go to all these conferences. So it's like every time you go, you see something new, or you see like a provider enhance their service to something even more like epic. And
Yeah.
you're like, why didn't I even think
Yeah.
about that? I didn't even
Yeah.
know
Yeah. Yeah.
Manifold was it. I didn't even think that there would be a solution for something. So like sometimes you see the tech and you're like, duh, there should be this. And that,
Yeah.
I feel like that with you guys. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems that way because I think the technology was, hey, every customer got to have their own personal bid board. Well, then that became 100 bid boards. So
Yeah.
it makes sense now to have something to centralize that for
Hmm.
for a freight broker or a trucking trucking customer to have that.
I was going to just say on the trucking side, imagine all the load boards and everything that they have to go
Mhm.
through as well. They have to go through like 100
It's
load boards to
it's
just
almost
find
the
one
same
load.
problem. It's just a slightly different situation. For trucking companies, they've got limited capacity, so they're not trying to win a
Hmm.
bunch of freight. What they
Right.
are trying to do is match the right load to their open trucks, so usually backhauls and or trucks that are not committed to more dedicated lanes. They almost always have a contract load going out. A lot of these
Hmm.
companies are literally just bringing their drivers back,
Yeah.
or they're taking something off the load boards like the AT or whatnot for pennies on the dollar a lot of times.
Yeah.
Just to reposition their truck and pay for the fuel and maybe a little bit extra. But there's not a lot of strategy or thought to it because it's so hard to go to all these different bid boards and to try to find the right load at the right time for the driver when they need it. What we do is we allow these trucking companies to create what we call match a truck rules. They basically just put their truck availability. Hey, Tom's truck is going to be available on this date at this time in this place, and we'd like for him to go here. Now, it's a very specific request, and it's hard to log into portals and find that request. You might just miss it being a human. You might just
Right.
misread. But with our technology, we take all those opportunities from customers and from some of the brokered bid boards that these trucking companies log into, like C.H. Robinson or Echo or Rod. We bring all those opportunities into
Oh,
Manifold
wow.
and match it with that available truck.
That's
So
wild.
it's a really powerful tool for dispatchers to find not just loads for their drivers, but the right load to get the truck back where they need the truck to be with a
Hmm.
good paying load, not just something super cheap. And so we
Right.
have customers who, we have one customer, their overall revenue went up 11% because they had better backhauls as a result of using Manifold. So think about that. If you have
Yeah.
400 trucks and each truck does 4 or 5 trips a month, outbound and inbound, and let's just being conservative, that's 4 or 5 loads, backhauls that are needed for each of those trucks. That's 2,000 loads that you're increasing your revenue on. Like that makes a
Well,
big difference on your OR and your profit.
and also if you think about it, whenever trucking companies are wanting to expand, that's usually the biggest headache, right? Is like, okay, if I buy it, like I can afford to buy another truck, but then I got to facilitate getting him out there, bringing him back in. I got to facilitate the
Right.
driver and that truck.
Or you get a new customer for that truck and they're going on a new lane you've never been on before. Well, how do you find the
Yeah.
loads to come back? Well, this
True.
just brings all the opportunities into one place and says, there's 2 loads for that. You can go ahead and book one of those loads.
Yeah.
So it's a
Interesting.
it's a great tool.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, how exciting. Obviously, I knew whenever you jumped board and went somewhere, I'm like, if he's given up consulting, which I know he loves so much, it's gotta be gold, right? Golden, whatever.
That's a good play on it. That's right. It
Yeah.
is. And we are making the yellow a big statement. We're kind of competing with Highway on who's going to own yellow in the space,
Yeah.
because they've got some good yellow branding as well. But we're going to work on it, see how we do. We love those guys over there. So that'll be a fun little competition on the branding side of things. But yeah, I do love consulting and I think I will go back to that. But
Yeah.
this was just such a cool product and a cool opportunity with really great people. And, we're, it's kind of a perfect storm because we're in that age of AI. We use Claude a lot. Our theory is how can we build the strongest company with the smallest team, which is
Yeah.
kind of an interesting thing. But that's where we're at. It's like, let's push the limits and see how great of a company can we be? How great can we be to our customers and building technology and not letting anything fall through the cracks with the smallest team possible. And AI is allowing us to stretch those limits and find out where they are and push beyond them a little bit. And that's been exciting. I've actually
Yeah.
built I built the welcome hub that's on our website for new customers, which is,
Mm.
I mean, it's kind of cool. I'm pretty
Yeah.
proud of it, but I'm not a developer, and working with Claude and using some of the tools, I was able to do that.
That's so cool.
If you had asked me to do that 2 years ago, I'd have had to hire somebody or just not do it,
Yeah.
one of the two. And so it's really cool to see what the limits potentially could be. So we're
Mhm.
on our own journey to scalability and to become as big of a company as we can with the smallest team. And I think that's what a lot of brokers are doing. That's what a lot of trucking companies are doing is
Totally.
how can we build without having to add a lot of people? Because sometimes that just adds more headaches and more problems.
Right. And finding the right people is like so
Yeah.
hard, especially, I mean, sometimes you get lucky. Like I know people that are like super lucky, but then they try to grow and they're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
I hired a bad apple. And how do
And
then
one
like
bad
getting
hire
rid of them is hard. And
one bad hire
yeah,
can really set you back. It really
totally.
can. It's just not easy to fix that sometimes. So
Right.
anyways, we're on the similar journey. And that's what makes it fun is that we're doing the same thing that we're basically trying to do for our customers. We're doing internally, which is cool.
Yeah. Which is smart. I think they say like tech debt, right? Like, or even tech debt and employee debt, right? Like those are like the two overhead spends usually. So like if
Yeah.
you can make it where you can do more with less and either side, it makes
Yeah.
sense.
And it
Yeah.
just makes it
Interesting.
scalable. If you get the right processes from a technology or automation in place and they're scalable, then that just makes it a lot easier to bring on new customers and not have any lag in terms of the experience and the success they have. And that's really
Yeah.
powerful. So we're just we're thinking like that. And we want customers who think the same way, which has been really fun to find them. There's a lot of them out there that have the same kind of, tech forward thinking, and those are the ones we're going after.
I know those are my favorite customers. Whenever like being on the tech side, whenever you can like innovate and you can like dream out things, you're like, what if you did this? And you're like, I
Yeah.
love those. Those are my favorite people.
They are.
That's
They
so fun.
definitely are. And it really fits into like, we're trying to be a fans first organization. We are a fans first organization. I'm not going to talk in the future. I'm going to talk now. We are a fans first organization, which for those who don't know, it's basically the Savannah Bananas business approach, business philosophy. The owner of Savannah Bananas, Jesse Cole, he wrote this really good book called Fans First. And it basically talks about their philosophy on how they do business and how they turn, people into fans. And
Hmm.
in all of his business talks, he says the same things. He says, listen, you don't want customers, you want fans.
Yeah.
Because fans do 3 things that customers sometimes don't. Fans pay full price. Fans keep coming back. They stay engaged and they tell everybody about their experience. Because
Yeah.
why would you
Very
not
true.
want that as a business?
Right.
And I think, yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly what I want. So we try to have fun with it from the very first interaction on a sales call to 6 months in using the tool. We try to make it entertaining and fun and light. We do silly things like wear jerseys and send
Yeah.
fun stuff. We if you sign on to Manifold, you get a mysterious yellow box. in the mail, and
Ooh.
you get to open up and see what's in it. And so just trying to do stuff like that because we want them to enjoy the experience while they're
Yeah,
building their business and making money. We want them to have fun. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all just people, right? We all want to be entertained. So
exactly.
we're
We are
working
all
on
just
that.
people. And I think sometimes
That's right.
people get out, especially with marketing and sales. Like I think people forget about that. And they're like, oh, I'm selling to businesses and I want to be so businessy
Nah,
and
just people.
political. I'm like, at the end of the day, a CEO of whoever, of Amazon or whatever, is a
Right.
person. And
That's
you
right.
treating them like that is what I think people enjoy the most.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's what we try to do is just have fun with it and follow that fans first philosophy. So again, we're just trying to find the right customers, the right fans, and just build that up. So we don't want everybody out there, but we want the right ones.
I'll have
Yeah.
to read that book. That's pretty cool
It's
because
a phenomenal read.
yeah, and
Phenomenal book.
it's a perfect way of putting it. And it's almost like I said, a duh moment too. Like, of course, this is what you want, but that's pretty neat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and the subtitle is "Change the Game, Break the Rules, and Create an Unforgettable Experience." And for me, somebody I call myself more of a rule evaluator than a rule follower.
Yeah,
That kind of philosophy really makes sense. Like we don't have to do things just because that's what we've done in the past. Or that's what other people do. Like, what do we want to do? What kind of experience
yeah.
do we want customers to have? So we're just playing around with that and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't.
My favorite type of people are rule breakers. So
Yeah,
that's
I've got this idea of using. I don't know if I'll do this or not, but using Claude to generate like a verse or two of a song, and then grabbing my guitar and playing it and trying to sing
mm,
something crazy, and then send it to a prospect. But it's custom to them, just
cool.
something kind of silly, just to be like, who gets a custom,
Yeah,
song as a first, contact from a
that's so
prospect.
funny. I
So I've
said
got
this
kind of
on
got these ideas.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I just did a podcast with Sales Dash. I guess it'll be coming out right before this one.
Yeah, with
But
Josh Lyles, my boy.
I know, I love him.
Love
But we were just
Josh.
talking about like something. I was like, what's the most unique way that someone has ever like prospected a shipper? And my version of it was I know this guy who like he was approaching like a chip manufacturer, and he opens up the bag of chips. He's videoing himself. Open up the bag of chips. Takes a bite. He's like, I was eating this chip, and I was thinking, why don't I haul your chips? And that was all he sent. And he just sent the video like that. And then he was like,
Yeah,
I do this with every single prospect and I kill it. So I think
yeah, just
thinking outside of the box like that, you got to do the
something
singing
clever.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and this other thing I did too is, we RV a lot as a family, which is fun. We've had a chance to kind of
Hmm.
go all around. We were in North Carolina for spring break. We just got back from Michigan. My kid's 50th state, by the way. Very cool.
Very cool.
Anyway, so one of the things I do whenever we're on the road is I got a whole list in here on my phone. I write down the trucks on the road that are super clean and nice. Like I just write down the name of their company,
Oh,
and
wow.
then I reach out to their president or their owner, CEO, whoever, and I say, "Hey, I was on the road. I saw your truck, man. It looked super clean. I bet you guys have a phenomenal organization. If you guys need help
That's
with,
cool.
spot quoting, getting back calls, let me know. Would love to talk to you about that." So it's like
Yeah,
that. I mean, think about this. If a truck's going down the road and it's super clean, that means a lot about the organization.
for sure.
And so it's like that's the kind of organization I want to work with. So it's like, what better way than to call the president and congratulate him on seeing a beautiful, clean truck go down the road with its brand on it? Like he'll take
Yeah,
that call. Right?
for
Who
sure.
wouldn't take that call? So
Right.
just trying to
They work so
think,
hard.
just trying to think about creative, unique ways and in many ways custom, personal ways to do outreach. It's just fun. Like I said, I'm enjoying being back in the trenches and just playing around with this stuff.
So
That's what we're
fun.
doing. We're just playing around. We don't know what we're doing. So
Well, exactly. Yeah. I'm out of sales now, and honestly, it hurts a little bit because I love doing that, like unique things, and I love being creative and marketing. I get to do all that type of stuff with my podcast, so I still feel like I get it. But
yeah,
I do miss like the grind and hustle. So if I ever do go to like a customer's office for like integration part or pieces, which is what I do now. Whenever I go, I'm like, can I sell a load? Like, can I hop on the phone, talk to a carrier? And they're like, why would you ever want to do that? I'm like, please. So it's you got to sharpen those knives and stay sharp. I think
well,
even no matter
that makes us different. I moved freight for 6 months and realized this is not for me. I'm not, that's not my cup of tea. I like providing the tools that support freight brokers, but I wasn't very good at moving freight.
were started at like a bad time. Like I bet it was like produce season or peak season. Because whenever you go where like it's at the broker's time, that's like the perfect time to start a broker or like to jump into being a broker.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then then you have fun every day. And then like you see all the stories of like the brokers where they're like playing golf or they're, doing whatever.
yeah,
And then whenever it's a hard time, you're like, oh man, I can't wait to get back to the good times. But
yeah. It was
it's
like
fun.
2017, 2018. I did that and I moved. It's weird. I did some LTL. I moved oranges, and I did some over-dimensional type freight. And I had a couple
Ooh,
customers I worked with for 6
that's why
months.
it was hard.
Yeah, it was a wild stretch, but
OD's hard.
it was good because I felt like I can at least say I've done it. I've been in that
Yeah.
seat. I've made those calls. I've taken those late calls. I've booked trucks. I've lost trucks. Just all those things that just happen as a result of the job. I did get that, so that's a good experience. But it also taught me this is not where I want to be. I do
Yeah.
not want. It's not.
You're on the
not
right
for
side.
me.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't not sleep. Like I said, with being a broker, no matter what position you're in, you don't sleep. Maybe accounting,
Yeah.
maybe they
Yeah.
sleep, but everybody else, no.
I think if I had found freight brokerage right out of college, I would have loved it.
Oh
I think I would
yeah.
have loved it. That would have
Especially
been
like
fun. That would have been fun
ADHD
run.
mind.
Being
It's so
competitive,
fun. Mm.
just always thinking, always on the run, working, nonstop. Like I think for a season, I would have probably really enjoyed that. But
Yeah.
I was a little older. I think I was like late 30s, early 40s at that point. I don't know. What was that? 2017. That was 9 years ago. So yeah, like 30 and 39. So it was just a different
Yeah.
season in life. Wasn't my thing.
Makes sense. But here you are now,
Yeah.
right where you belong. And I think
We
it's
all have
super
our,
clear.
yeah, we all have our spots, we all have our
Yeah.
spots in this thing. So
Exactly.
which
You're
works well.
golfing
Yeah.
and you're golfing in your office. So like
Oh yeah.
a
So
typical broker.
dude, look at this. I can take a full swing in my
Oh my
office here.
gosh.
So
That's so
yeah, I've
funny.
got everything set up so that I can take swings while I'm on sales calls and things. So
That's so
it's
funny.
just nice to have a club in your hand. It's just nice to be.
I need to get
holding
into
on to it.
golfing. That was on my vision board. It's been
I
on
know.
my
I'm
vision board for
shocked
2
you
years.
haven't.
I
mean, you're
know.
athletic. I'm shocked you haven't done this yet. It's so good in our industry to
I'm
have
definitely
that. So
not athletic, by the way. My kids are, but I am not.
more
Like,
than
I
you
can't.
think you are. I can tell you are more than you think. You
I
can
don't
do
know.
golf.
Water
You gotta work
sports
on
I
it.
could do, but I think golf. I do think I could do golf, especially whenever there's no expectations. Like if it's hey, hit the ball and don't delay the time. I could
Yeah.
probably do that. But like
Well,
scoring well, that ain't
no.
happening.
Listen, don't worry about that. What you should
Yeah.
do is just go to golf course and just putt and chip for a while. Just try to make putts. Just learn how to putt, learn how to chip, and then just slowly move your way back. You'll be fine. You'll figure it
Yeah,
out.
I need to. I need like a buddy to go with me locally or something.
And
But
putting and chipping is really fun because you can have a little competition with them. It's usually really quiet. You can talk. Like it's a great
yeah,
spot to
you
go
can
to,
drink. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
So. You can do that too. That's right.
Well,
You
this
can
has
do
been
that
so
too.
fun. Thanks so much for joining me. Real quick before I wrap everything up, anything else you want to touch on or golden?
Well, I do have to say, we're recording here early June. I'm not sure when this is going to launch, but I'm excited
Coming
that July 3rd, I'm competing for the second time in the International Barbershop Chorus competition. And it's actually this year in St. Louis. Over
What?
38 choruses from around the world have qualified. We won this competition back in 2023.
This
I am
is
a
so
front
cool.
row dancer, as you can imagine. So I do
Yeah.
front row choreography while we sing. And it's like
What?
everything I dream of. It's incredible. And so if you want to learn more, you can just go to barbershop.org and you can check that out. That's one of my big hobbies. But we're on YouTube as well. So if you look for the Ambassadors of Harmony on YouTube, you will find some crazy good performances over the years. I've only been with them for 3.5 years now, but I was a part of the 2023 International Gold Medal winning chorus, which was pretty cool.
I'm gonna have
I
to
got
clip that into the bottom of into the
I
end
know,
of
I
this
got my
because that's
gold
too
medal
cool.
right there. Look at that for winning.
That
right
is
there.
so. You're just so full of surprises. Like, what else do you do? That's
all
so
kinds
fun.
of stuff. We got to keep it fresh, Danielle. It's that ADHD mind just keeps going, just new stuff and figure
I
it out.
know.
And so right now we're in competition mode. So two rehearsals a week, 3 hours per rehearsal. And
What?
it's very,
3
very
hours
intense.
per
Yes.
rehearsal?
We go 7 to 10.
What?
Like this is, if you want to be a championship course, this is
Yeah.
the commitment.
You gotta do
This
the
is what it
things.
is. All right. And it's really
That's how
cool
you win.
because we are so focused on the tiniest little details of how we're saying words. And obviously the chords have to sound right. And just all these little details. It's really intoxicating to be a part of an organization that is so focused on excellence. Like it is really fun. So
That's so cool.
it's a good time, but that'll be in July. And then of course we got college drop off August 14th. So some big dates on the calendar coming up.
That's my son's birthday, so it's a good day at least. Yeah,
Hopefully it is a good day. Yeah. Hopefully it's a great day.
it will be. Is she staying local or where is she going?
About 2.5 hours away. So far enough
Okay.
that she's kind of on her own, close enough that we can sneak down there for a football game or something, and
Yeah.
see how she's doing. I'll tell you what's really cool. And I will say this. This is my advice to any parent. This is my advice for you. And you have a big
Mhm.
network, so this would be good for you. So being a dad of a daughter, it's hard to see her go away and know that I can't be available. Like if she has a flat tire, I can't be there.
Right.
If something goes wrong, like whatever, I just can't be there right away. I can be there in 3 hours, but I
Yeah.
can't be there right away to help her out. And I was just feeling a lot of angst and just like, I don't know, just uneasy about that as a dad, as a protector.
Yeah.
And I had this idea that, hey, listen, I know a lot of people in this industry and I know a lot of people in the city where she's going to college. So I just called about 15 of my friends in the city who I really
That's smart.
trust, who I think are great. And I said, hey, would you be a part of a support group for my daughter if I put it together? And I said, here's what I'm thinking about. And I want you and your wife to both be a part of it. I want her to meet some women and have some
Yeah.
connections and all that kind of stuff. And if she has a flat tire, so she knows who to call. And they were all like, yeah, absolutely. We love that. So now we've got this group there were 9 families that were able to say yes. So we have this
Huh.
group of 9 amazing, amazing families in the
That's
Springfield,
so
Missouri
cool.
area who were all going to be there. We had one dinner about 2 months ago. I started crying just thinking about this whole thing, but they got to meet everybody. And my daughter, after we left, she goes, people are so nice. I'm like, yeah, of course. I'm not going to bring jerks into this equation. Right.
Right.
But she was like, they're so nice. And she swapped phone numbers with all the wives, all the women. And she's got these connections now already before she goes to college. And I'm just so thankful that thought occurred to me. And so that's my thought to you or to anybody else who has kids going to college.
Yeah.
And if you want to give them a little bit of a support cushion, especially if you have a network, just ask the people you trust to be a part of this and set it up. And we have another dinner, June 15th. Then we have our final dinner on August 15th for this year. But then that point, that's her
Yeah.
crew, right?
That's where
That's her
she'll be.
support network while she'll be down there. And it takes a lot of stress off old dad here, knowing she's got some people in her corner, So
Well,
I'm excited about that.
and I think it's a good thing for her to learn like how important a network is, because I didn't realize,
Yeah.
I mean, like I've always had friends and whatever, but I didn't realize like how powerful a network could be in so many different facets, like not even just work, not even sales, not, like just
Right.
overall,
It
like
is.
if I need anything, I know I have somebody to
Yeah.
call. That's so
Yeah.
cool. And that's such an important lesson to learn young.
Yeah, it is. It's huge. And again, I can't be more thankful for the people that said yes, because again, I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to,
Yeah.
it's going to be so great. So that's coming up. And
Cool.
again, all these people, by the way, are transportation industry people, except one couple. They're all transportation people. I mean,
Wow.
just good people, salt of the earth. And so again, very, very thankful for
We got some
all of them.
good ones in our industry. One thing, like I'll never leave
We
the
do.
industry just simply because of the people. Like I feel like we got the best. All of us are ADHD. All of us all of us work really hard. All of us play even harder. And I'm like, this is my people. Yeah.
It's very true. There's something to be said about that. If you have ADHD and you like to have fun, this is not a bad industry to play your roots in,
Totally.
that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for
I
sure.
love it. Well, how can everybody reach Manifold? How can everybody reach you?
Yeah, I mean, they can connect with me on LinkedIn. Obviously, that's easy enough. Or send me
Yeah.
an email, trey@manifoldfreight.com. Our website is getmanifold.ai, getmanifold.ai. And if they want to see some of my Claude development work, they just need to go to the contact page and they can see the beginnings of that. And then when they
Ooh.
become a customer, they get to see the welcome hub. And it's really fun.
That's so cool. I was going to bring this up earlier and I totally Space Cadet forgot. Whenever we're talking about building your own thing, I really want to. So I went from Outlook to Gmail with switching to Genlogs. I cannot stand Gmail as far as like a work. I have it for my personal stuff, but for like a work suite, I can't stand it. So I've experimented with all of the different email AIs. They're all terrible. So I'm like, I want one that like you can just like basically just like Outlook, be Outlook Gmail. And so I want to build my own AI email tool to like, if I say I want a meeting, it just says you have these available dates and just plugs it in there. And then they respond back, say they want it. Send the email invite, like just do the things so that I don't have to do them. This isn't
I love
hard.
it.
So I need to build this.
I love it.
Yeah.
I bet if you spend a little time with Claude, you'd figure that out.
I know.
It's
I
amazing.
need to.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to play around for sure. Well, thanks so much for
That's
coming
awesome.
on. This has been so great as always. You're always so fun.
Hey,
And,
congrats
yeah.
on all your success too with the show. I just love that you have this
Thanks.
podcast and what you're doing out there, and that you've landed at Genlogs, which is exciting. And
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll see you this fall. I'm sure you're going to be at a few places. We'll be at a few places. So
Yeah. I'm not positive on all my shows. I'm going next week, which I guess it'll be after we go. I'm going to the Midwest Security Council. So I got to go to Chicago. I love Chicago. So I'm pretty pumped for that. But yeah.
Have fun with that. I'm not doing much till the fall. Trying to stay home and enjoy these last 10 weeks with my daughter before we send
smart.
off. So yeah,
I know.
good.
I'm kind of not wanting to do anything for senior year. I'm like, just maybe I skip all conferences, but there's no way I could. I have such bad FOMO. There's no way.
I'll tell you, I will say this. We'll end with this. Maybe we've said we're going to end several times, but
Yeah.
I will say this. I didn't go to any conferences in the fall of 2025, which was the beginning of her senior year, and
Yeah.
no regrets. No regrets.
Really?
I didn't have FOMO. because I wanted to spend extra time with her. We did some extra things. We took some trips together. She went on a business trip with me. I didn't do anything. And yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a bummer to not be at those events, but just for a season, it was
Yeah,
fine. It was
I
fine.
know.
So, you know,
We'll
take it
see.
easy and enjoy. But it was a fun season. It was a fun fall for us. That's for sure.
Well, that makes it maybe easier for me to say no because I don't know. I have such bad FOMO. It's bad.
The conferences will
But-
always be there. The people will always be there. You know, in fact, I went to several this spring and got to see people I haven't seen in a couple of years, which is really great. And it was just like, you know, getting back on a bike, like just, you know, it was great.
So fun seeing everybody. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, cool.
It was.
Okay, this is officially goodbye. We're
This is
officially
it.
ending. All right,
Thanks,
bye
Danielle.
everybody.
See ya.